And we're back to discuss Murder on the Orient Express. And yeah, like I said before, Kenneth Branagh and his ridiculous mustache are not Poirot to me. It's a fine interpretation. He's funny. They do a lot of stuff at the beginning to sort of build his character up. That little, trial that he has at the beginning of the movie to figure out who stole the relic or whatever does a good job of setting him up. The thing with the eggs, all of those sorts of things kind of give you a feeling for who the character is. It does, it is a weird story for Poirot because he wouldn't normally consider this vengeance justice served. That's just not how he is, but in this particular case it made sense. And it also is famously the story where there are no innocent, everyone was involved in the murder. They were all out to get him. So it's also a story where, and this is true of a lot of Agatha Christie stuff, particularly the Poirot books. I think, if you watch the David Suchet Poirot series, you'll have a little bit more of a prayer of what's going on because a lot of the books, he'll just speak French every once in a while, and if you don't know what that phrase means, you're lost, you're out of luck. But it's also a lot of things where, if you don't have the knowledge of how households are run in the 1930s and, what was available to people, you're never going to figure out the solution to the mystery. You're never going to solve it. And that's just sort of a part of it. So I don't think, people that don't know the story are not going to figure out the mystery ahead of time, I guess is what I'm getting at. Mm-hmm. But that's fine. It still has nice twists and turns. I like the fact that Johnny Depp plays the character that dies immediately. That's great.
I was so happy that he had the shortest screen time. I was like, oh, I really like Johnny Depp. 15, 20 years ago, he was great.
But he makes a good impression in this movie.
It's enough.
He does enough to, set up that character and then,
back out.
He's the specter hanging over the rest of the movie, so.
Yeah, I was happy that his scenes were short. It told me who he was, why he was important, why they all wanted to kill him. But it didn't have to go through the whole Johnny Depp, pirate. So that was really good.
Yeah.
Because he has a tendency in his movies to go back to Captain Jack, and it's no, you're supposed to be a detective, or no, you're supposed to be a witch. Why do you look like Jack? I think
they did a good job, too, of, this is a movie that takes place completely on a train, and they didn't have any two scenes that really felt the same. They weren't all shot in a hallway or in a sitting room or whatever. There's the part where they're having a conversation between two rooms and it's all an overhead shot, and then it follows him into his room, and then there's the part where he's interviewing Willem Dafoe's character and it's shot through glass and you can see 4 Willem Dafoes talking to him. It was just, there was something inventive or different about each one of the scenes, each one of the ways that things were shot that was interesting. That was good directing as opposed to just utility directing. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that this is... Kenneth Branagh did a couple of series of a detective show called Wallander, which is based on a Swedish book and series. It's actually been done, the television version of it's been done twice in Sweden. And I have a feeling that he had that this was something he'd wanted to do for a long time, was to play this character and direct this movie. So
it was really good, and I don't know, the set was beautiful.
Yeah,
I really loved all the details.
I watched a little making of thing, and they spent a good deal of the budget building that train to spec from the story, and making it where they could take pieces off of it to get certain shots, like the overhead.
Yeah.
And so this was definitely a passion project for him, and you could tell on how carefully it was shot. It was It was a really, really good movie. I very much enjoyed it. I wish I hadn't read the book, honestly, because
you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew how it was going to end, and I still enjoyed the movie because I can only imagine how much I would have enjoyed it had I not known.
Some of it was hard for me to follow because I didn't know the source material at all. So that's, I mean, but you also pointed out, 1930s household. How am I going to?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like. I mean, the couple next to me didn't have a prayer anyway, following along with what the story was, but that's typical. I mean, if you watch, like I keep talking about the mystery PBS mystery series of Poirot, which is just called Poirot, starring David Suchet. Like, those episodes are the same way, where it's a lot of the times the solution comes down to knowing some piece of trivia about living in that time period, and it's not something that you're going to figure out on your own.
Sure.
So
I was kind of amazed because I anticipated this movie being entirely in the train. Like, I thought it was going to be a kind of capsule episode kind of thing going on for 90 minutes, and the initial setup with everything that happens before they even get to the train. It was just an amazing amount of set pieces for that purpose.
Yeah, there was a bunch of exposition and stuff there. What I thought was crazy was it did this when the train left the station. They did this sweeping shot that opened up and showed all of the surrounding city of Jerusalem, and just as you could see like all of the big major landmark buildings, it cut away. It's like, what? Like, why did you bother to make that shot if you weren't going to show it? Like, show the landmark part of it. But okay,
like we didn't build the rest.
Yeah, it's like, it looks too fake. Don't show it for very long.
Yeah.
I did find some.
Let's throw some smoke in it.
The camera work where they were shooting from the outside of the train inwards, I found a little distracting. I liked the idea of it, but I was like, I'm having trouble following this because there's big pans of parts of the train when you're not looking through a window, and you're just hearing the talks. I'm like, my brain was just having trouble with it. I don't know what the deal with that was, but
they only did that at the beginning. When
Yeah,
he first got on the train, and it was to try and make you like aware of the size of the train and like.
sure.
It was a layout thing. They were doing two things at once.
Okay.
And what Michelle Pfeiffer's character was talking about really wasn't that important. They were just like telling you that she was annoying and that she was like trying to follow him around. And
I think it would have also been a little interesting to see like what the other employees' side of things would have been. Like, oh, there's a murder on the train. Like, seeing like a scene of them like gossiping, in their quarters of what's going on. That would have been a little interesting, maybe.
yeah, I mean,
it would have taken away. I understand that it would have taken away, but I mean, like, you're on this train where a dead body and everybody there is being investigated.
but unless it is part of the mystery, it wouldn't be part of the story.
True, but I think for more of a theatrical part.
Yeah, I mean, it also would have made it longer.
True. True.
Yeah, those are the kind of things that I would complain about. It'd be like, why do we have this character? It's not in the book that, means nothing to anybody, and it's like, oh, we just had Scarlett Johansson around? Okay, fine. Just put her in the movie.
She just wandered on set one day.
Yeah.
Do we anticipate them making more movies off?
No.
Out of the,
No.
No.
Well,
Okay.
they kind of did a nod to it there at the end.
Sure.
By mentioning the blood on the Nile.
But
Yeah. I mean, I doubt it will go that distance.
I can't imagine them making enough money.
I don't think they'll make enough money,
No.
honestly. I think it'll do fine for what it is. I think, it'll draw an older audience in general, but I think, they did it right, and they spent a lot of money doing it right, and
Doing it once.
and they're not going to get, they're not going to make double their money back and make a sequel out of it. So.
right.
At least, I mean, that's how I see it anyway.
However, if it's popular enough, we could get an Amazon or Netflix series.
That's accurate. Yeah, I mean, we're hard up for Netflix series now that we've canceled half of them.
I know, right?
Yeah, I just watched the old Poirot. I'm fine with it. I really am. Fine with the Swedish Wallander too. Kenneth Branagh needs to find some new material to work on and not remake everything else. But of course, he spent the first half of his career remaking Shakespeare, so
That's true.
who knows? So if you're watching Kenneth Branagh, we're impressed, but come on, let's do something else. All right, that's it for us. If you like when we do these, please like the video, subscribe, check out all the written and video reviews at dalemaxfield.com, and thanks for watching.